Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby and the 2016 Bashford Cast. Demo Derby Masters. Winter Slam 2016. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash in Capital City Carnage. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon. Welcome to episode number 140 of the Crash Course. Everybody here ready to go for another fun episode. We got Chris Furster going to be hanging out with us here in a little bit after his win at Trumbull County. We're going to be talking with Bill Gaffy in a little while. It's boy, it was say what? Say again?
Must be Pete didn't show up.
No. Oh man, Ben, it's terrible.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He didn't go, but I tell you what, Chad Dyer, Robbie Wallace, they did. Yep. Mike Henshaw, and
did you see Mad Mike's car?
Davy. Those guys got third.
He was in Pete with Imperials, I think.
God,
Imperials were eating him.
That poor Ford. He told me he goes, you know what? I'm not driving to win this. I'm going to drive to have fun. From looks of that car, I think he was having some fun.
Inside out.
The A-arm is ripped through the stacks.
Yeah.
That's how far the A-arm got shoved up into the stacks. Ripped right into him. Mike sent some pictures. It was like, holy cow.
Mike DeFries's team, he ran with Rich Cipra, came home third in the Trumbull County Derby. And then it was Chad Dyer's team with Robbie Wallace was on that team. They had a couple sub-premium Imperials. They were second. The winners were Chris Furster, Mike Henshaw, and Davy Chapman winning at that Trumbull County fair with Jeremy Hayduke put on. And then here locally on Saturday, Mike Klinger, making the trip out of Mill Creek, Pennsylvania, came up and won and took home Mad Dog.
He was
in Caledonia.
Yeah.
Killing it.
The only thing I had wrong, I picked it in the feature. I picked Klinger to win, which a lot of people I think picked Klinger to win. But I was picking Tracy Young for Mad Dog.
Which he was driving
great. And if he hadn't lost a drive shaft,
absolutely,
I truly firmly believe he would have got Mad Dog because he was a man on a mission. And he was driving hard.
Oh, he was. He's fun to watch. You know, The thing with Klinger is, and this is, I know people don't like to, but you got to go after the guy because they were leaving him, and he was picking you guys off one by one. I mean, he was such a great driver, backing up to the corner. Then he went around, backed up to the corner.
Yeah. One of the nastiest cars in the feature was the Raffle car.
Yeah.
You know, I did my best to try to win it, but luck of the draw, I didn't win. But, dude, I talked to Andy today, and he destroyed the ass end of that Raffle car.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I said, he probably pushed it, because I didn't look at it afterwards. I said, what did you do, push it to the speaker deck? He said, yeah, pushed it through, around, in. He said the ass end is just about 6 weeks Sunday. And that was like one shot.
Oh, yeah.
Klinger's tires were off the ground when he hit him. It come up off
the
ground. It was like, oh, man, that
Klinger,
was awesome.
And that wasn't even his good motor.
No, the good motor was in the other car.
Right.
Yeah. He could have put the taillights back in that suicide. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that was for was letting him know when he got to the wall so he could take back off forward again.
Somebody hit him, just tapped him, and he asked once. And that was it. The rest of the time, it was
McClung. McClung was the only guy that had the balls.
Yep.
McClung went after him once, and then
he
picked the fight. And
he got headlight to headlight. Ron said, he goes, I thought I swallowed my teeth, my lips, everything. He goes, you hit me.
Oh, my gosh. Again, his tires were off the ground.
Yeah.
If you were to watch that video, Klinger's front tires are off the ground half the time.
Yeah.
Man, his stuff is sick.
Yeah.
Eric Weiss doing a nice job to come up with second place in that. Dave Baker winning the compact feature with John Studley coming away with second place. Marty Seeger winning the Mad Dog in that. Yep. Dan Bolton winning the Mad Dog in the trucks. And Brian came up, I think you said 6th or 7th?
Something like that, yeah. Got the Mad Dog in the heat.
Brian was deep in the Raffle car. I mean,
he picked on the Raffle car guy.
Oh, man.
I spun a donut, and there he sat, not moving, and I'm like, it's a pretty fresh Cadillac. I probably had to hit him a couple times.
Oh, and front tire shot all day.
Yeah,
but
it was.
I think them Buffalo guys up Buffalo, Dunkirk, they got some mojo going on with raffle stuff. because the dude that won the raffle car was up Corfu.
Yep.
Up from Corfu.
Oh, yeah.
Which is up. I'm like, dude, I'm always not even bought no tickets because
Get a P.O. box over there.
what's
Osmond.
Pat Osmond was there.
Yep.
He was there. I'm like, once I seen him, I'm like, Nick King was there. I'm like, hey, there's no sense even buying raffle tickets now, but it was already too late. But them guys got some mojo going with them raffle tickets. But
It was a good
Yeah.
derby, I thought.
Yeah,
It was fun.
it was a good
Excellent.
first.
You gave me
first-
panic looks. Everything. Somebody say that like they don't have any audio or something.
No, we're
Okay.
good. We're
All
good.
right.
The atmosphere I thought was really good there. Like,
Yes.
that's a big thing
Yeah,
to me
we had
lately.
a-
Is
we-
how people are treating each other.
One little episode, but you're gonna have outbursts here and there.
Yeah.
It was handled right.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it's you're gonna have that.
But for a standalone show in the middle of fair season
Yeah.
to pull more cars than the fair. There was a
Everybody.
derby that night. It pulled more cars from a fair. Is really impressive.
I
And
mean,
I said, Kenny,
everything-
it's the worst time of the year right now, honestly, to do a
Yeah.
standalone show.
And I mean, if you think about it, the class with the least amount of vehicles probably put on the overall best show of the night, which was the trucks. The trucks had 7,
Oh.
and those
Dan
guys, you
Bolton
guys were
won
nuts.
Mad Dog and had his back wheel knocked off by who ended up winning that.
a Dakota, Josh Decker.
I got
Josh
so
Decker was
lucky on that tire shot.
and he was bummed out. He goes, "Man, you're on Dakota, these big trucks," and and he just went out there and just junked shit with it.
Oh man, it was strong. When I hit that Chevy full track,
He
Brian, I
tracked
love
that
you too because you're like full track. I never let off. I
Oh,
was
we
in
seen
that.
that coming. I'm like, he's envisioning a squareback wagon right now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my mouth was watering, dude. When I hit it and I just
Dude,
seen
it
him
drove.
disappear. Oh,
It drove like a squareback.
what a great feeling!
And
What
then
a great
he
feeling.
got it fired up.
And
got
what's
it
he
fired
do?
up, and he comes right after you again. And I'm like, Josh is chomping at the bit right now.
Oh, my.
He's loving this.
When you watch that video, my front tires come off the ground.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, it was awesome. It hurt, but it was worth it because he again disappeared for the second time. You know,
And that time he was done. It broke
I
everything.
apologize to him because you don't want to hurt nobody, but also like you can't not take that shot when
yeah.
when it presents itself. You know,
Yeah.
well,
Absolutely.
Bolton redeemed himself. I got to give it.
Oh,
He
yeah.
definitely redeemed himself for Bash for Cash.
yeah. Oh, he had a great run.
You know, and I
Absolutely.
think that lie had to do with he was already moving when they said go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, all of us
But
had a good
Tatum-
run.
yeah, everybody had a lot of fun.
We all beforehand we were kind of saying like, God, we all need a good run here. I hope it's
Yeah.
fun. Let's just everyone had their helmet on. I was the last one to run over there, and I said like to the group, I was like, listen, we have to put a show on today. Like, I do
And you
not
got-
want to get booed or none. If you guys have to junk me the whole time, do it.
And you guys were tagging one another.
Oh,
too,
absolutely.
Because
Well, that's what we
From
said.
early on, you
we
guys
were
were
here-
after it.
We heard rough.
Gully wouldn't even give the thumbs up in the group picture. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was funny. We left among you, Seth.
Yeah, Gully's there waving out the window. Bolton drives
I've never
by,
seen it.
Josh drives by. We're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Jeremy's down the wall. But Bolton just, I love watching Bolton run. One of the ones I love watching run because he runs a big block, which is a rarity, and he runs a 4-barrel carburetor. And
was
he
screaming.
was opening the 4 barrels
Yeah.
again when he's coming across
Oh,
the
yeah.
track.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
You know,
And real quick, that motor is available. You could buy that. It's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Everything for sale,
Everything
he
he's got is for sale.
I hit him once in the back. I was trying to hit side. The side of his thing is not that strong. Front and back, incredibly. I truly felt like I hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I did, I remember
You
saying,
stopped.
I said, "Don't do this again." My knees hit the dash bar.
Yeah,
I broke
you
my
st-
seatbelt out of the seat.
Yeah.
You
My
stopped.
seatbelt broke out of the seat. I immediately said, "Oh my God, how am I going to beat him?" It came like immediately in my head, like, "What the hell am I going to do here?
Like,
I have to beat his tires."
It didn't even like lean over the
No.
where the taillight goes. Like you hit him, and I think it dented it a little bit, and I'm like,
it dented the bumper.
Dow's
Yeah.
like, Dow said it sounded like 2 dump trucks.
Yes, it
He's
did.
like, dude, it was such a deep thought. He's like, I knew you bent your truck.
But you literally hit him that one side on the driver's side in the crew cab.
Yeah.
On the driver's side, and you made him wave right off.
Oh, yeah,
Because he goes, dude. He goes, he hit me. He goes, I shifted just right. He goes, I thought something internally got messed up in
That's what he
me.
said to me.
And he
Yeah.
goes and he goes, and I said, but you fired back up after a little bit. He goes, oh yeah, you got my bearings. He says I was good to go again. He goes, hey, he broke my axle.
Well, I actually, if you watch the video, he's waving off. I never saw it. I
Yeah.
never
No.
saw it. He's waving off, but I continue to do a donut and come
Yeah.
right back in.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I see him go like this, and it's like, I didn't know he was off, you know. But then he
Yeah.
kept going,
Yeah.
so he
Kept
deserved
going.
a broken axle.
Yeah.
You waved off, Dan.
Yeah.
You deserve that.
But it's good because he said he's going to run that. He's going to, when the truck's done, then he's done running, so he'll be able to put an axle in it and run it again.
That truck is a lot.
ton.
I think you're
Nothing
gonna-
bent in frame wise.
yeah, I think you'll see that same group of guys running trucks a lot.
I think
My guys were hooked.
He said it. He thinks it shifted a little bit just because of the way when he put it on the trailer, the way he goes something tweaked just a little.
But he also broke a motor mount in there, so his motor was a little.
Well, like you said, them rails, they're made to flex.
Yeah.
They're made to flex,
Yep.
and they're not going to flex. They'll flex a little bit. They have some sort of retention to come back down. They won't like an old rail, like a C-channel rail. They'll bend right up. These are more of they have like a tube effect. He has a deflection.
What surprised me though is in the front of it had a bunch of crush zones. They weren't cut out like a Vic would be, but they were indents, like indent,
Yeah,
like
that
a whole
takes
group.
a lot of fucking.
None of them bent, nothing. No. Oh my god, I was surprised.
That was tough.
I got to build one. 07 and newer. Oh.
Real quick, I just wanted to thank Jeremy Gully. He busted his ass last week. He had a little mishap at work, and he built the Suburban in 3 days. He said he had all the girls helping. Jody was there. Jody was, obviously is a great Derby wife. She puts up a lot of stuff. They got the Suburban ready, and he had my Cordoba ready. And again, I wasn't running. If he hadn't offered me that car, I wouldn't have ran this year. And that was absolutely a ball. I mean, I loved every minute of it. When I went out for the feature and he said, stand on it, and I said, okay. And, it was...
Dude, you won Mad Dog in the heat. It was awesome.
Then he was up in the tower saying, Brian is not worried about my motor and not worried about my transmission. He doesn't give a shit about either.
I knew I had a Magnum, so if I blew the motor, I could give him a Magnum and replace the motor. And I figured that I could probably find a 727 somewhere and I could get that straightened out.
Yeah, I know there's a brand new one rebuilt.
Yeah. But again,
great. It sounded great, and when you won that Mad Dog in the heat, it was awesome. Dude, they stopped the heat and you won it. It was like, yes.
You could give them a 907. They hold up just like the
904.
904, I'm sorry.
That was a 904 in that car. That was a 904 in that car, and I was driving it as hard as you could, believe me.
It was tight.
But again, and I feel very honored. I got to run the Team Mark car, and hopefully we got a little airtime with it. So I haven't watched the video yet.
Now Jeremy's going to be busy this weekend and the following weekend with Orange County Fair. He's hosting a derby, trying to help resuscitate that event. Orange County Fair is down in Middletown, and we've seen Brett Hearn win a lot down there. All the derby people are sitting around scratching their heads. He's a modified driver who's done okay with his 800 career wins.
Him and Josh Decker are a lot alike.
No, they're not.
Take Chuck down there in Orange County, right? Take Chuck down there. He could have
the Tuttles. He was hanging out with the Tuttles.
I'm headed down there actually. I try to support all gully shows, but it's a weird area because our areas they have such
there's
core of drivers in every county fair, right? There's not really. It's like a dead zone. So I'm going to go out there.
It's a heavy racing community down there.
Yeah.
I mean, there used to be modifieds, just trailer loads of modifieds that would come out of there. And Orange County Fair Speedway was so known for it was the hard clay. I mean, Eastern States Weekend is the longest consecutive running.
Yeah, and it's going to continue that on.
Ever.
Where'd all the motors go? Because we put them in derby cars.
I was just going to say, yeah. Some of them crate motors.
Funny. No, it's not. They're not crate motors, Josh.
$4,000 motors or
$40,000.
$40,000 need to start running that.
Yeah.
Get some hookups, Chris. Come on.
The guy
I've been after my Uncle Ramey to get his sprint car motors. He'll word injected and everything else, but he just looks at me like I got 6 eyes every time I say that.
They run Sunday, and then they're going to run the following Sunday again down there, and he's trying to build that thing up and get some life back.
This Sunday it is?
Yes. Last year they only had a few cars. They already got pre-registered compacts enough to run heats and features. So
which is excellent.
He's growing that, and Gully's been a great promoter last few years, so follow him. But if you got a car left over for Sunday, and it's more stocker builds, Gully's spinning wheel rules, but go down there.
Absolutely.
I'm going down there. I'll take the family.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a big track too, because there's that front stretch the track is wide, and then there's a pretty good sized infield to where the guardrail is.
That's the one
No, GDS.
No, GDS is
OCFS and GDS are different shows.
All right.
Oddly.
That's in August.
All his shows are alphet soup. Yeah. There's FTR. There's GDS.
I wanted to try to get to the GDS show later this year, but it just didn't work out for me. So I think I'm going to go try to watch it, but I may try to go.
I might have some leftover cars.
Jason, who worked with you guys at Caledonia, has already said that if he can make the schedule work, he's going to be doing some traveling in the next couple of weeks. Coming up,
cool.
Going to go sit in the grandstands this week, Thursday and Saturday, at Waterloo. And then the following Tuesday is the first night of Dunkirk. Wednesday is Broome County. We're going to be live both of those. Saturday and Tuesday next week is Canandaigua, which is right here locally, so the modified races will be off. Sunday's championship night in Dunkirk.
A week from Saturday, there's no races.
A week from Saturday, right.
Right.
Yes, a week from Saturday, there's no races.
That's Canandaigua.
At Canandaigua, right.
I'll be there.
But Tuesday, Ben will be there.
You'll be sitting in the stands Saturday. I won't be sitting in the stands. I'll be dealing with ladle heads on the track. You can sit in the stands with my mother, because my mother will be there in the stands.
I would love to be.
She's never sat in the stands at Seneca County.
Why don't we get her right up on the judges' stand? That's where she needs to be.
I've got to see how that's going.
I'd love to be down there with you, but I'm watching the show from the stands with Alan both nights. Thursday. He doesn't know he's going Thursday.
I haven't decided yet. I love my hometown, and like we've touched before, there's always something about it. But if I could go and just stand on the bandstand and not have to deal with, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking I'm an asshole for it, and that's fine. I've been called an asshole before, but
many times.
I'm to the point where I just want to watch a derby and not have to deal with the drama. So if I can get in there and get up on a bandstand, I'm going to go. If not, I don't know. Maybe
there's more drama going on up in the judges' stand than there is up in the stands. Bad, but this year
shifting gears.
Actually, there's gonna be a lot of. This year, there's gonna be some people showing up. They've been calling me that. Same old, swear it'll never coming back, never ever running ever again, and now they're all.
It comes around. It goes in cycles. Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. This place is good. This place is bad.
I swore I'd never go back, but next year I'm going back.
Yep. Final ride, right? That's it.
If I keep hearing feedback, then I won't go. I'll take it somewhere else. But
you want to run that car again? That bash car?
No,
it's just sitting there.
No, I'm gonna build a car, Josh.
It's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
He's gonna do it.
I'm gonna go
next week.
I'm gonna go next week. School.
He's gonna do it right, Josh.
No, I'm just no.
Totally understand. I'm not knocking it. I totally understand. I totally get that.
I just hope the price of scrap goes up, because I've heard a rumor that there's going to be a big show in Pennsylvania next year. I'd like to run that. I'd probably go back to Caledonia Jam Fest again. And if Ben's going to Waterloo, I got to go to Waterloo. So there's at least 3 cars. So.
Well, you're trying to get some past feature winner here.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. It would be cool. It would be good.
But wouldn't it, though, to go out there, bang heads with Mark and Harold and Brett and all those guys again?
The only thing they don't realize is I'm going to build my cars like I did 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I'm all right with that. Mm-hmm. I'll build them how I've learned to build them now. And
you're going to let Ben build them how he used to build them for you 10 years ago?
The only thing Ben has ever really done is bumpers and cages.
He built your rear end.
Yeah, he did. He built me up the...
Can I borrow that?
Why are you asking him? It's my rear end.
Over. Can I borrow that rear? We're going to be getting Chris first around the line here in just a few minutes, then talking with Bill Gaffy around 6:45. But some other results from in and around the United States, just to run down through them. We hit on Caledonia, which, by the way, we've already been told that is going to happen again next year, and we are going to be back there.
Yep.
Josh Decker's got to come back. He's got to defend his title.
What's happening?
All signs are pointing to, since there is no Saturday that's the 16th, I believe, in 2017, that at least middle of July I should be fine. We shouldn't be having any weddings, and I'll be there so that there's not quite as much
banter.
Well,
anxiety on your part.
You won't be able to talk about me that much and get away with it. Eric,
we still will.
You'll just mute it so it doesn't go over air.
Just say.
That's so funny. I can see Jason every time he'd pick on you, because
Jason texted me the one message that he sent me. It immediately made me look at my shin and just shake my head, and I wrote him back, "Fuck you."
That he wanted to drive?
No, he told me that he goes, Josh really drove that truck hard, and Bolton's truck, he was in a Dodge, and I guess that Dan, he drove pretty hard too, but all those guys kept saying that when you were in a Dodge with that other Jeremy guy, that you were just a pussy.
For let the record show, none of us would ever get in a truck with Jeremy Gully.
No way. I would. No way.
Yeah, all right, Ben would, but we know he's not right.
I had a wonderful time from what everybody told me.
I don't want to do passenger seat. No, there's... You guys ever watch that video of Mike Brown when his passenger loses his helmet? Yeah. No, thank you.
On the topic of Mike Brown, his boys ran together and picked up a Mad Dog Award. Robert and Brian Brown. Eric, I know I'm going to screw this up. Eric Toddy, he won a Mad Dog Award at a derby up in Montana. I saw that on Facebook.
Real quick, in Montana this week, they have 5 weeks in a row of fairs that are all the same rules,
Yep.
and they're all over 3,000 to win.
Yep.
So so everyone builds and then just runs, which I thought was very cool. Yeah, that's in Montana.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he told me that today.
Chris, you can get us out there, will you?
I'll see what I can do.
Wow.
Rick Clark.
I might be going out.
Rick Clark picked up a win.
Really?
In
Bryce.
That'd be cool.
Bell Fountain.
no,
Go ahead.
I wanted everybody to hear what Ben was talking about.
Oh.
But he pulled the plug on it. Once he saw me over here clicking, trying to figure out how to get him back on the camera, he stopped talking.
Montana, we've heard that already. Rick Clark picked up a big one, $10,000.
Yeah.
In
Really?
Proctorville.
Good for him.
Pre-run Chevy wagon. I think it had a Mopar motor in it, but it was pre-run Chevy wagon.
Proctorville, Ohio?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty sure it was.
Yeah, it's Proctorville.
Yeah. Mitch Carlson, he ran at Long Prairie, ended up finally breaking through for a win there. I guess things were a little tough on him. At one point, he had bent a loaded 74 Chevy bumper and bent the brackets behind it as well, and they weren't stock brackets, but he wouldn't tell me anything more about it. So I don't know if the sandbagger thing fit somebody that's turning bumpers inside out, but whatever. Leanne Rumsey picked up some hardware at Blue Rapids. Tim Clark's son won his first Derby over the weekend. Darren Brown, he had his hands on a car that won Mad Dog in third place,
that was cool.
which was pretty cool. And Jeff Snyder, he picked up the win at Oswego Speedway. They had a Derby on the asphalt at the Steel Palace.
Man Mike's Kids won one also too, right?
Did they?
I thought so. I thought I seen Man Mike's Kids ran one.
I know there was other divisions that were running. That's just what I could pick up from cruising the internet. So it was
so much Derby action.
It was a busy weekend.
It was
Real busy
very busy.
weekend.
Think how many cars got wrecked this weekend? Just this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Tons and tons and tons, you know.
And they were all built better than anything you could do.
That's a good point.
You know, we bust Josh's balls a lot, but that Dakota was very impressive. Ran great.
And she never bent in front of the firewall.
No.
Never bent in front of the firewall.
That's because how you got the motor changed.
Was that your goal?
I did learn a few things that I'm going to try next year.
No, don't. You can't take any ideas you saw.
Different cars, different things.
I love that Dakota. I will say I definitely could feel a
Jim?
difference between the big trucks when I would hit them.
Okay.
They had much more weight, and
Oh, yeah.
I was more like a gnat out there, but I could move better.
You need to
but
look for like a extended cab or something, give you a little bit more space.
I thought that exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that exact thing. But I want to buy one with a V8 in it. 'Cause taking one out and putting one in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hike up your skirt. Look at all the money you made.
It took us days.
Hike up. Why, by us, you mean your crew.
Joe.
Joe, I mean, I watched him do it.
Did he lift it? Did he lift it out by hand?
Pretty much.
Just check it.
It's like,
Pretty much.
hey, Josh, come over here and spot me.
Can you
Chris Forster joining us here on the hotline. Chris has got a busy couple weeks ahead of him now that he's ruined his car at Trumbull, winning with Mike Henshaw and Davy Chapman. Now he's got to turn his attention to the Hog Wild Fall Brawl. Their website just got up and running, which you can find more information on there. Man, congratulations on the win, and take us through it a little bit, Chris.
Oh, thanks, guys. You know, I'd say not being in the car for so long, the adrenaline level was so high, I can barely remember what all happened in the Derby. You know, from the second we got there to the end of the night, we were busy putting the car back together or cutting it to fit the rules, and it's all kind of a blur, but I know I had a good time.
That's awesome.
That doesn't sound like an adrenaline dump. That sounds like what they call a concussion.
It might be. It might be. If you guys could have seen the competition there, it was insane. I mean, there was a surprise team show up with two subframers and a caddy. You know, and I'm always starting stuff saying these Fords are nothing. They ain't no good. I'm here to tell you these Fords can hit too. But it's very possible. I know that I took a vacation day today and a couple of Advil, and I'm sitting in the garage wondering, looking at all this mess I got here, wondering why do we do this to ourselves?
Absolutely.
Well, in terms of the crew that you guys ran with, you had a pretty good team with you, Mike Henshaw and Davy Chapman, and you guys were up against some pretty stout competition with Mike and Rich Zipper coming up third, and then Chad Dyer and his team coming home second.
Yes, yeah. That feature was, I've been trying to keep up with some of the stuff on Facebook, and I think it was Derek Lewis that mentioned that it was a feature full of guys that were good from all over this area. So there wasn't, like a lot of times you go into a feature and you're like, I'll just find the weak car and stay on it, you know.
There wasn't
I had a
one.
heck of a time trying to find the car that was soft. It was
Yeah.
just like anywhere you looked, it's like, oh, there's Corey Roman, there's a subframer, there's a caddy. It was like, I don't know. Everything out here is good, you know.
Yeah.
But it was definitely tough.
So is that where you start switching into driver mode and just trying to pick off weak points, like, you know, when you're nosing up against when you've got the crosshairs trained on one particular car or another, you got to know their weak points and make the shot count. Otherwise, you're just ruining your car instead.
Yeah, I mean, I was up against a challenge. I think you guys know I like Cadillacs, and I didn't have one. So I was always taught to run into your car's potential years ago, and having a Chevy Impala going in, I thought I was good. But once we showed up and seen the cars, I mean, there was no shots. I wasn't doing any nose-to-nose or back-to-back, just trying to take wheel shots and line my frame up square on the corner of their frames, and you know, just ran what the car was. I wish, though, I would have had a caddy or a subframer out there, because there wasn't, you know, there was no embarrassing anybody out there if you tried to go nose to nose. Everybody was getting bent, especially with the stalker type rules, you know.
Right. Yeah, I guess I understand that everybody was pretty content with how the show played out. And I guess there was no problems, no discussion. Everybody came pretty much built the way that you were supposed to, and there wasn't a whole lot of headaches going through inspection either.
You know, an inspection was tough. I thought, you know, I thought maybe I could get away with a little bit. There was a little bit of static in the inspection line. We had to cut a few things and come back through and cut a few more things. But I think they're trying to improve on that. You know, years ago in Ohio, in eastern Ohio, it was acceptable to be overbuilt, and these guys are trying to pick up on the trend of it's not really acceptable anymore. So I didn't know how to judge it. And then also, I mean, I was fearing for my life that Pete Hansen was going to show up, so I didn't want to bring something underbuilt. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
I probably would have needed an ambulance ride if he'd have showed up. The Imperials had me so scared. The track was so big, and I'm like, if Pete would have showed up, I would have just taken myself out mentally, you know?
Oh, shut up. Chris.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I don't know if anybody else there could tell I was nervous, but I one more thing would have went wrong, I'd have snuck out of there. They'd have been looking for me when the heat started.
We thought we were going to see Casey and Mike tonight. They've moved their spot into August, which we're looking forward to seeing them up here in studio as we get ready for that Hog Wild Fall Brawl. You're involved with that thing pretty closely. That's shaping up to be quite the event.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I was nervous about, you know, how people were going to interact, even at this derby last night. And it seems like a lot of guys are on board. I think they enjoy some of the things we do. And, you know, just even guys that weren't running last night coming and bullshitting with us and hanging out, helping with the cars. I think it's going to be a great event. I think it's more about fun and family, and I guess even now cookout and the charity thing. You know, I think it's all going to work out well.
Yeah, it sounds like
Really
there's some pretty good discussion around it.
It seems like derby drivers kind of are pulled to those kind of shows where it's more family atmosphere, where you can like take, you know, it's like your whole weekend. You're like, all right, let's load up the truck, let's go as a family, let's hang out. Like, I think that atmosphere is really catching on more than you know,
and for a good cause too. I mean, on top of that, I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, it's you know,
It works, too, because, you know, the derby drivers lose so much time working on the cars, you know, where they could be spending it with their kids or family vacations or just even a day getaway. They're wasting time in the garage, where even like, I mean, a lot of derbies are doing it. The Power Wheels, the Youth Derby, it gets them involved, and they're kind of excited about it. You know, it's not like you're taking something away from the kids anymore.
absolutely.
You know, and you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I was thinking a lot yesterday because I had today, it was my actual day off, so I was just, you know, thinking about how the Derby went and how some other stuff went, and I feel like the Derby as a whole right now, like a lot of the guys that are running have been running for like 10 years or more. You know what I mean? 10, 15, 20, 25. And we're all getting older and maturing, and I think everybody's just kind of got sick of all the drama. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everybody's just like, all right, let's just build, you know, and we're going to play in some gray areas, but I'm done with fighting and arguing and bitching about stuff. And I just think that as a whole, it's just, everybody's kind of like, all right, this is how I want it. Let's just go wreck a car, have fun, And not everybody goes to wreck a car, but let's, drive to win or whatever. But let's just, everybody, I think just for the majority, I just think most people are getting sick of drama.
There's a bell curve there. The majority of people in the middle of the bell curve, they're content, but there's still the outliers on the top who still like to fight, and there's still the guys back here at the beginning that never liked the fighting to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I agree with that. You've got so many people that have gotten to that, to use a very dangerous term loosely, maturing.
Yeah,
it's actually the right word.
But you're never gonna.
You'll never get rid of everybody. You're right.
It's like that in any motorsport.
Yep.
You're gonna have all three of them in every motorsport, no matter what. And in this one,
you see guys that are in their 40s still throwing helmets in NASCAR.
This one, especially Demolition Derby. Demolition Derby has been stereotyped for years.
That's what I was gonna say. Yes.
Of being a certain way and acting a certain way and fighting is acceptable and and it's a woodchuck sport and this and that, and to get rid of that, I think we've really got rid of that perception in the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now, even with this show and showing people different areas and different shows that how people actually do act. You don't act like a bunch of dumbasses, and it's not a high school. Okay, you looked at my girlfriend wrong, so I got to punch you in the face now type deal.
No, I think
among our circles, yeah, I think in maybe there's maybe 1 or 2 degrees of separation from that core group like we were talking about. But even this weekend, when I walked around the back of the shop, there was 10 vintage dirt modifieds at the house that I was at. One of them said Boyd Decker and Quality Hardwoods on the cowl, which was badass. So I walked behind the shop, and there was a 1973 Chrysler sitting out back. And I came up and started talking to the guy about it. And he goes, "Yeah, every woodchuck around here thinks that'd make a good derby car." And he told me how years and years ago when he was in high school, he drove a Suicide Lincoln. Everybody told him it was going to be great, but it was junk because it just fell apart. And he goes, "I can't believe that all these rednecks are still doing this for $200. And I stopped him and started to explain some of the stuff that we've seen. And he goes, I had no idea. And we were down in Gilbertsville, which is right near Norwich and Sherburne and Walton. So, he's right in the middle of one of New York's hotbeds and didn't necessarily know. So I agree that we've done a lot of work to get out of that, but it's the people that are just kind of sitting on the fence waiting for the Derby to come once a year that they don't embrace it, but at the same time they're not going to, because they're like we were 20 years ago, like Josh and I have talked about so many times, where the only Derby that happened on the planet was at our hometown fair. There was no even awareness of any of the other shows that were happening within an hour and a half radius.
And that's the thing is, we've all said that, it was always, and I would be ecstatic because, with the racing, running at least 2 tracks, if not 3 tracks a week, on the odd occasion, there'd be a demolition derby after a race, and that was the greatest thing in the world, because then I'd get to see, 4 derbies that summer instead of 2, So it was.
I think, too, for, years ago, we kind of touched on it, but, in your area, let's say fighting happens. Where I grew up, that's what guys did.
Yeah.
There was a fight every time at my county fair, and I'm really not that kind of person. Even though I've been in fights, I'm not a fighter.
That's how you got on this show.
I know it's weird to say that, but I know. But I never liked it. I never fit into that, because it's I get my ass kicked. No matter who punches me here, I'm not out. So I never was into that.
Josh is too. He gets in a fight and he goes, "Just don't hit me in the face."
Yeah, not the moneymaker. But.
Oh, goodness.
That's horrible. No, but I think guys like us are starting to see that you can go to derbies and have fun. I think guys are watching it saying, look at that group of guys. They're enjoying themselves. Even though they just are junking each other or whatever, they're going as groups. And I think people are catching on that we don't have to fight. Mm-hmm. We don't have to be scumbags. We can let the scumbags be scumbags, but if you're not that person, just go to these places that it's not happening and follow those kind of places, and it's not happening.
Well, we've touched on it 100 times. Thankfully, we've been blessed to be able to go to pretty much the biggest shows in the country. And I've still never seen, any even arguments between drivers after shows. They all get out and shake hands. Now, they may be mad, and when they get back to their pit, and talks amongst themselves. But they'll shake hands and.
But drivers also police each other
Yes.
at that next level where, like, sometimes, like, let's imagine I get out of the car really angry and I'm like, and then Ben will come over and be like, whoa, chill out, come on, it's you can't do it right here, not the place, let's go relax, and that's also helping us because we're not letting each other do that to each other. You're stepping the level up, and then people follow by example, right? That's a real thing.
And that's primarily the reason why I think, personally, my opinion is why you got Speedway Motors stepping in as sponsors. You got, O'Reilly Auto Parts. You got Napa Auto Parts. The stereotype is getting broken down in
Definitely getting broken down.
and that's the number one step that had to be made in order to move it to this next
Selling
to
out
the
6
next
and
level.
7, 8,000 seat arenas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Well, I was talking with Jason that went with us because you weren't available, and he was asking about how big derbies were and stuff. And I said, the one we go into at Topeka, I said there's a couple hundred cars, and I said we sell out a hockey bar, and he goes, a hockey bar, and I said no, hockey barn like the War Memorial. I said that's sold out. I said 7,000 or 8,000 people, and he's like, are you serious? I said yeah, it's sold out, standing room only. And he's like,
And you can meet people from every state and most of the provinces in Canada at it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and every walk of life. It's
there's lawyers there. There's lawyers there, and there are people who didn't pay their electric bill that month.
There's doctors, lawyers, chiropractors,
everything.
small business owners.
Chiropractors are the small
farmers.
business owners that make out the best at Blizzard Bash.
Oh yeah, just hand out cards. Here you go. You need this.
Well, prime example is Blizzard Bash because remember when Don Santel, I think it was at Capital Carnage, took a bad shot. He got hit in a driver, or was it the opposite way around?
It was Blizzard
It was
Bash
Blizzard
when
Bash.
he ran against T.J. McPhee and
Mott-
Vandow's team.
Mott
Mott
Sweat
Sweat hit him at a red flag.
Okay, that was it.
And it was the different dynamic of Utah. Somebody starts a shot on you, arena shot, you
can't wave it. Yeah.
And Don, pretty much, when he backed up and he was coming, Don broke his stick and Mott kept coming. And he was, and that's the only time, we all touched on it, that's the only time we've ever seen Don Santel come out of a car like that.
But he immediately chilled himself back out and then shook hands.
Yes.
And then they had a conversation. It's like, man, that's some good sportsmanship right there. That's some real true
and all
sportsmanship.
that all comes right back to what you guys were saying is that's mentality. That's the difference between standing in the Midwest and standing in Utah. Chris, we're looking forward to getting down there for the Hog Wild show. I mean, between the cookout, the car show, the cars that are being built for it, you've got so many different divisions that are going to be in action over there. We'll run down through them here. 2016 Hog Wild Fall Brawl is going to be Saturday, October the 8th. It's a 4 o'clock start time on Saturday. We're going to be there for a little while because there's a ton of classes. Pro Limiteds, Wire Class, Super Stocks, Compacts, Youth Trucks, Power Wheels. They got an RC Derby that's going to be there, 3 raffle cars. The event supports 3 different charities, the Matheson College Fund, the Fisher House Foundation, and the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. It's at the Stoneboro Fairgrounds in Stoneboro, PA. The show and shine has cars, trucks, diesels, imports, rat rods, the barbecue festival, live music, adult admission. It's $11. You can't beat that. And then kids, they get in for under $6. Again, Hog Wild Fall Brawl is the one that we're talking about.
What class raffle cars are being built? What 3 raffle cars?
Chris?
There's a 76 Impala, I believe, for the Super Stock. With a lot of the sponsors have donated. I mean, this one will be built capable of winning the show. I know there's a lot of aftermarket pieces on it. That's the car I've been following as they've been messaging. I know there's a compact. Forgive me, I'm not real good with the compacts. And then there's also an 80s wire class car that Mad Mike DeFricio and his crew are building.
Dude, that's the day after my birthday. I am buying raffle tickets.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So I think with the crews that are building these cars, I think any one of these is capable of winning. There's actually derby drivers that are competitors out there that are actually building these cars, and I think they're going to put the attention they need to actually be there at the end. I hope I'm allowed to buy a ticket. I'm starting to become a fan of these Impalas.
You can buy a ticket, but if you win, you got to let Ben drive it.
Yeah.
Knowing your luck, Ben, he's going to be, well, here's the keys to the Lumina.
Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that because I got to ride with younger Preston Henshaw, and I swore I'd never get in a compact, but that was probably one of the things that got me back into Demolition Derby and riding with him in that compact. Once you get out there, I guess it's all the same, but just actually getting in the car.
Yeah.
having drivers build a raffle car is a great idea because you're tagging their name to it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I built a raffle car for Coos. My name was on that thing. If he goes out and makes one shot, you feel like a shithead. So it's like, you got to make sure you're right. They're going to put time and effort because it's like, my raffle car just won that derby. And that's something for a driver to hold on to. So I actually like that idea.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I know we're all looking forward to getting down there. Chris, again, is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of here about the win this weekend? I know it was a hard-fought one. Details are still foggy. Hopefully people took some pictures and help you remember what you did out there in terms of winning that. Is there anybody that you want to mention in terms of getting the car out there and run with the team?
There was a lot of phone calls this morning, and one that stands out in my mind was Casey Smith. He drew the card for the team with the Imperials and the Caddy. I think without his bravery and his team, I don't think it would have played out the way it did in the end because they actually did hurt those guys pretty bad in the heat. Obviously, Davy and Henshaw, being great teammates. Corey Roman, Corey was by himself for a team in the feature, and I think he took half the feature down. Made it a little easier for us.
We've seen that before.
That's awesome.
Everybody. Even the first show, I think he had 9 guys out there. Even being a team show, they still ran it. They ran it right. And there's so many guys, I think. The car was a mess in the pits. All the guys come over and help us put it back together,
Right.
And DerbyDogs for giving us a chance to fix the cars and get through. And I don't know, maybe the concussions caused me a memory loss, but everybody, I want to thank everybody,
Hey, don't feel bad. I was the same way after every derby I run. I can't remember nothing. I get flash points. Other than that,
there is definitely times I've blacked out. Like, I've watched videos afterwards and been like, I don't remember that.
Ben doesn't remember anything because he gets focused. He's like looking through a tunnel.
I'm pretty sure I blacked out a couple times.
Oh, and I thank Pete Hansen for not showing up because it would have pushed me over the edge. Oh, and everybody there messed with me. They're like, "Oh, Pete's on his way. He's just 2 intersections away."
Yeah.
Shit no more.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, man, I appreciate it again, and look forward to seeing you here soon. And keep working on those cars. And if anything else comes up with Hog Wild, man, be sure to let us know.
All right, will do. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
Chris.
good
Good win. We'll see you.
Thank you.
There goes Chris first. Or what he didn't tell you is that Pete Hansen built that car for him.
Pete would never have enough pallet in his shop, let's be honest.
Chris is a good dude.
Yeah, he
All
is.
that. Chris is a super guy. Let's run through a couple of this stuff, and we'll be back with Bill Gaffy.
It's Truck Month at Layton Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You can get the best deals of the year on all of our Ram trucks in inventory. Plus, if you're a current or past customer at Layton Hills, we're offering you an additional $250 customer loyalty rebate. And if you live in northern Utah, we have an additional $250 Great Neighbor rebate too. So during Truck Month, we have a new 2016 Ram 1500 SLT Crew Cab. And after dealership discounts, customer cash, and Truck Month rebate, it's yours for only $39,115. We're going to take advantage of these savings.
All right, Erie County Fair coming up. New team format in 2016. I believe that's going to be August the 14th, 2016. It's going to be middle of the month of what's shaping up to be a very busy August now. We got more details coming up on that in the course of our conversation with Bill Gaffy. Full-size team spots are still open. There's only a couple of them left, though, when I was talking with Corey McKillips. It's going to be streamed via Crash Course on FingerLakes1.tv. Call Corey McKillips for more details, 419-656-6163. That's 419-656-6163. Some of the guys that we talked about in those yellow cars, Chad Dyer, Robbie Wallace, they run in Sandusky at this fair, so I'm really, really looking forward to that. And it's sounding like R.J. Volts might be working with us in the booth, along with possibly Brandon Tyson making the drive up from Iowa to hang out with us in Sandusky. So looking forward to that one coming up on the 14th of August. We talked about the Hog Wild Fall Brawl coming up on Saturday, the 8th of October. Another one coming up in September, the East Coast Championship, the team show, September the 3rd. It's a 2 o'clock start time for that one. It's only open to top 2 finishers from 2015 and 16. Full-size and compact team divisions, limits of 14 teams per class. The V8 class is paying $2,250 to win. Compacts are paying $1,500. Teams paying $3,000 to win. Junk runs $500. Outlaw class is $500 minimum. The East Coast Championships are going to be held at the Delaware County Fairgrounds in Walton, New York. Kings of Old School 2016 East Coast Championships. If you got details or have additional questions, 607-327-2705 for Brett Relier, or rules questions, go to Mark Benjamin, 607-215-2149. Again, for rules, Mark Benjamin, 607-215-2149. Also, moving ahead, some more sponsors have been booked for this show. I've been talking with Justin Madden a little bit, starting to take form. This compact division is really gaining some momentum. Broome County Fair is going to be at the Broome County Fairgrounds, Whitney Point, New York, July the 27th. 6:30 start time there. Wristband sales go on sale at 2 o'clock on the Midway. Grandstands open up at 4 for seating. V8 Modified is paying $1,500 to win. Compact feature paying $1,000. Minivans and trucks paying $500. Chain and Bang stock event, which these are the rules that Eddie Bello had written to sort of revitalize the Chain and Bang division. It's open to 4 and 6-cylinder cars, 100% payback of entry fees, up to $1,000. A couple sponsors on board for that. Other events happening that day: Kitty Tractor Pull from 1 to 3 o'clock, free admission until 1 o'clock, no entry after 1 o'clock. Pay one price rides at $17 between 11 and 4. Again, Justin Madden, 607-427-2375, 607-427-2375. And our good friends over at Smash It, they got a busy couple days coming up. July 23rd, they're going to be at the Franklin County Fairgrounds in Hilliard, Ohio, 7 o'clock start time. Smash It class, mild welds, mini cars, street stock, Power Wheels on the menu there. July the 24th. The next night they go to the Clark County Fairground in Springfield, Ohio, 5 o'clock start. Smash It minis and Power Wheels there. The same night, Union County Fair is being held, Marysville, Ohio, mild weld, street stock compacts, and more there. Cable County Fair in Milton, West Virginia, 5 days later on the 29th of July, 7 o'clock start for that one. Mild weld, compacts, compact trucks, mowers, and Power Wheels. And the Shelby County Fair in Sydney, Ohio is at 5 o'clock. Shelby County Fair will have any or wire class, the compact, street stocks, full-size trucks, and the Power Wheels. And we're also looking forward to the first week of October. We're going to be back out in Utah for Halloween Havoc. Joining us here on the hotline is Bill Gaffy, who picked up a win at New Alexandria Friday night. Bill, man, congratulations on the win. Happy to see you put that car in victory lane, and I guess that gets you locked in now for the championship night coming up in August, correct?
Yes, actually the first night I qualified, but
okay.
I took it back just to have a little bit of fun, try to win. There was only 2 pro cars that actually they put 6 stock in with us.
Oh, my.
They said a couple of things were wrong with them, so they wanted them to run against us. So, I mean, anything could happen, which happened to me. It was a good run, I guess, at first, and then my header bolts started coming loose. And when I got down to about 6 cars left, it started bouncing around pretty good, my driver's side one. And, I mean, that red line runs pretty good, so I just kept going with it. Hopefully, exhaust valve didn't bend or anything. And then it actually almost fell completely off, and then I finally got enough on the 2 stock cars to come down to me and 2 stock cars, a dad and a son, and put them both away, and they come out still running. If it wasn't for the red line, I wouldn't have won, but...
Wait, so Bill, I just want to make sure this right. You got to run with stock cars with your car?
Yeah, when I went into the driver's meeting, there was 2 pro cars there. And I thought maybe they were just going to split the money or, give them the spot or let us go out and hit. And, the other kid was trying to qualify. And so they said there was a couple cars that weren't for stock, like pieces of rubber. And then they came over to us, and I really didn't care for it. A couple of the stock guys, I mean, they didn't even have real good cages in them. And you guys know as well as we do, I mean, these cars hit hard for pro cars that we build around here. So...
It's like night and day.
He was scared that we were going to hurt him, so, I mean, we tried to go easy on him, but then they wanted to play a little rough, so I had to take care of them. But,
Good answer, Bill.
It just, I don't know why they did it. I mean, Washington Fair, I think, puts compact. I mean, I've seen them put compacts, stock cars, and a pro car together down there in a Conci and stuff like that. I don't agree with it. I mean, compact cars are pretty hard. Some of them cars that they build now, they're getting ridiculous too. But
that kind of brings up
the stock rules here ain't. They're okay, but these guys said that they just didn't have rubbers on the bottom of their, like, just 2 rubbers, your top and your bottom, and they said they didn't have bottom rubbers in it, so they won't let them run with the regular stock cars. then they also told them if the stock car guys wanted to run with the pro cars, you could pay an extra $20 and go in there. So a couple guys did that so they could junk their cars, I guess.
You pay me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay you. You pay me.
Wow.
That's crazy, though.
But I understand, though. I mean, that kind of sucks because, like he said, he knows as hard as them cars. We both know how hard them cars are.
Crazy hard.
You start getting in the mindset, man, I don't want to hurt the guy.
Yes.
So you're laying off. That's the easiest way to get hung up on, and that'd be just burn your ass. And then, like you said, I mean, they wanted to come out and start teeing off, so guess what? And they just
shut them down.
Bye-bye. Make short work, And
Did you wave to him?
Give them a thumbs down. What are you going to do to
them? I don't. That's definitely screwy. I mean, especially if you got a wingnut out there that just likes to drive through people, and then next thing you know, that's like a kid in a candy store to throw a couple stock cars out there to them.
A couple cream puffs.
Well, last year I went down to GDS and I run a wagon and I got like third, fourth, whatever in my heat. Well, I had tons of car left. I just wanted to junk it, so I'm like, yeah, I'll go out with the modified cars. Everyone's like, you're crazy. Nah, it'll be fine. And the stupidest thing I ever did, they ripped both of my tires off, my bumper off. They jammed my pulley right into my
about
motor.
3 minutes.
3 shots.
Yeah,
it was like not even. It was the difference. The difference in the two is absurd. Absurd.
It's crazy.
That's scary, Bill.
Yeah.
Kind of fits back in. Matt Gaskin had shared a photo of a Skylark-looking thing that got opened up bad, and he made the post. This is why you have to have a perimeter cage, and this is why you have to have a halo. But when I looked at the picture, my first thought was, we don't know the whole story. In this case, like you guys are describing, we have compact cars potentially going out with modifieds. We've seen the video of that green Lincoln that hit the Lumina, stuff like that. If you don't have the cars on track that are apples to apples, does it necessarily matter how much cage material you have in it? Because if you have a cage in a Skylark, you have a cage in a Lumina that's hit by a tilted Crown Vic, does it matter that much? Isn't the thing still going to get...
It's not going to get tore up as bad as a car without a cage.
Well, I'm just saying driver safety side of it.
Yeah.
That's only it.
It's
still going to get jumped.
Safety, really. I mean, you don't want to... I mean, even if it's still in there, you hit somebody in the B-post, I mean, wide open in the doors. You guys seen Trumbull. We were there last night, me, Chris, a couple buddies. We all went out and seen Henshaw and all them run. And if you don't got a cage in there that can protect you from... These cars are heavy. I mean, they're heavy. Right. I mean, my ski tank and everything in there, and I have a diesel, and you can feel it when you pull. And when you hit somebody with it, like when I hit a stock car, the one guy that wouldn't stop at the end, he was supposed to shut it off. He said he just wanted to get down. I said, okay. Well, he wouldn't shut it off, so I track shot him. One shot, I hit the back of the trunk and pushed it through the back window the whole way in. And I guess when I hit him, the front pipe of his car actually fell out and was on the ground. Right. I didn't know, I don't understand. I didn't understand that point, but I don't want to hurt nobody. I'm there to have fun and, win some money if you can, but... It all comes to safety, I think. Nobody wants to kill nobody.
I get the safety thing.
Matches with people and stuff like that, but you don't hurt nobody.
Well,
but if everything out there is all, if you're running wire stock and everything is out there supposed to be wired shut, stock gas tanks, all that other stuff, and you get a car that's opened up like that, but nobody else on the track has a cage in, because some of these places don't allow cages. End of discussion. They just don't do it because the promoter says this is the way we've done it for 50 years. Exactly. They're the guys that are outliers, like we talked about in the conversation earlier. Yes. So I mean,
sooner or later,
what it comes down to is the promoter himself. The promoter himself, basically, it's his judgment call of letting these guys come in it. So ultimately, it's the ignorance of him because he wants to put more cars out there to try to please the people in the stands to try to make a better show.
Yes.
But on the backside of it is he's taking that chance of putting that guy out there and somebody's seriously getting hurt, and now he's not going to have a show anymore.
Yes.
So it comes down to that fine line. Well, is it worth it to give in to this guy to let him go out, or is it worth it to be that sticky because he doesn't have a bottom rubber on it to put him out there with the rest of the cars? I mean, everybody has their own personal opinion on that.
Can you tell him to take a turn off of it or something?
But
I would have come up with something. Not stick him in the pro mods. The difference there was.
Well, hang on. He didn't get stuck in the pro mods. He was given the option of going to the pro mods.
Yeah, but why would you even?
Because he volunteered that. If I understand it right, the inspectors didn't say your only option is to run the pro mods. Did he? Didn't he ask if he could? Or am I misunderstanding your story, Bill?
No, they gave him the option to take a couple out. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and them guys didn't want to change their body mounts. like put another rubber on the bottom and take
Sure.
them all back out and put them back in. And then the other option was to go in the pro class. If that's what they did.
Yeah,
Because I guess other drivers are complaining about they're going towards the rules, and them guys were not. So they were upset about it. They didn't want to run against them because they didn't have a ball and rubber on.
Right.
See,
I understand that point, but I wouldn't even.
That's where the
It's a
officials.
safety-
Yeah, that's where an
safety-
official has
it's a
got to.
safety aspect.
That's where an official or promoter's got to say, "Look, you are for nothing other than safety reasons. This car is not built to withstand a shot from this car."
Okay,
I mean,
but Ben had a
Actually,
good.
he actually did say he wanted to look at the cages in the cars, and then I don't know what happened because the one guy didn't even have a back pipe in, like post to post. So I did not want to hit him in the side at all. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we bend ours on the sides all the time. C-channel bends in half. I've seen them pretty far in there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we got loaded front bumpers. You know, we're tilted. We're a lot of plates on the front. It's
kickers.
pretty rough rules. I mean, you're hitting them loaded bumpers like that nose to nose in cars. Like first night when we were hitting, like Coons had a car, it was nasty hard in the front. We hit nose to nose, and we only hit it like 10 miles, not even, I don't know, slow. And it was like, wow, it was like hitting two fork trucks together.
Yep.
It's like, well, geez, you know. And these guys are like, when I was hitting a stock car, I really didn't feel it. Like I was just, you know, taking the
it's
whole
like-
front.
It's like running over. It's like running over a road
And I
car.
hurt him. And then I kind of got hurt because you know, they were trying to turn out of the way, which is smart of them because they don't want to go nose to nose with mine.
Right.
And we hit nose to nose pretty hard. I got him good, and he went down under the dashboard a little bit, and he come up, and he had a column shifter, and he couldn't even find it. He was like looking around, and I'm yelling, you know, telling them to come out and get him, and they're just looking, staring at me, and I'm out there looking at them. I didn't have my GoPro in, or I'd let you guys see it. At first, we were only supposed to run against like two, so I figured it would have been quick. Well, then when I went out, more kept coming out, and I'm like, well, geez, I should have put my GoPro in there.
Yeah.
But that's what it comes to. And then, like, you know, after three more hits of that kid, he stopped. I don't know if he shut it off or he got hung up when I was pushing him. But I went over to him after. He said he was okay. You know, I rocked him pretty good. But the one official was like, he wouldn't look at me. I said, well, I wonder why. I was rolling around in there. I said, I could have gave him a concussion or not. I said, I don't know.
Right.
I said, you gotta.
Bill, you gonna take a car back on the 29th?
We're thinking about it. I think Chris and Nick might take theirs back up too. We might get out on you. I went to Farmington and took and cut some stuff out. I didn't get there in time. I had trailer problems, and Nick actually ended up winning it, and he's qualified for Croucher's Derby in Fayette. So we might go down there too, and try to, you know, go in there. Because Chris still got a pretty decent car, and Nick's car is hard as a rock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, take him down there.
we might come up there.
Take him
Why-
down
why-
there. Take him down
Why
there,
are you
Josh.
worried about the 29th? Why are you worried about the 29th?
Yeah, Bill, I'm going to
Josh?
head down there. I think I get to hop in one of Siopa's cars, so I think I'm going to actually be headed down there on the 29th. So it'd be cool to hang out with you guys. But, you know, if Nick and Chris want to stay home, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, we always go up and watch. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's a hometown thing. It's right up the road. It's like a mile or two.
Nice.
We go up and watch to see what's going on. The only problem is now, like we talk about it all the time. The rules for here for the pros, I agree with it. I mean, I just bought all my stuff back, and you guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's around here. There's not enough pro cars for new Alec. Like they're always complaining. I mean, money's like $1,200 for first place, $500 for second, $275 for third, I think, or $250. I can't remember all of them, but they always want more cars. Well, they have 8, you know, every 2 weeks, and they have no idea how hard it is. Like the promoter up there, like to get cars together, and you got a full-time job, and you have a girlfriend
Absolutely.
or kids,
Yeah.
and time to do it, and stuff happens, and they don't think it happens. Like they booed us the first night and stuff. I ripped the tire off. My frame was a little bit tweaked. I had to fix all that. You know, my spark plugs, and like I said here again, I just won, but I ripped my header off. I ripped 2 spark plugs out. I was running on 6 cylinders. You know, it still costs money to do it. They just like keep wanting more and more and more. And the guys around here is like the Siopas, Coons, Hartzell, a couple guys, you know, hour away, 2 hours away come, and that's about it. You know, it's not a big money place around here, and it's not like Topeka or Bash or nothing like that. So we used to have rules about 5 years ago that were pretty good. It was a limited weld style. I mean, you weren't allowed like plates up front and loaded bumpers, stuff like that, hump plates, cars bent, like, you know, old school style a little bit. But it's just getting so hard, and keep yelling at them. It's just, I don't know, it's getting crazy. That's why there's only 2 cars there. The first night there was only 6, and people were booing. You guys know as well as we do, if there's 20 cars there, everybody runs pretty good until it gets down to the top 7, 6. Remember the harder cars, and then you got to start picking your shots.
Yeah.
And it would come down to me and Nick first night. Nick's a great driver. He has championships under his belt. I don't. I just go off. It was my first Derby back in over a year. And I was just trying to stay with him and blow his tires off. And people are just booing you, and you're like, they don't understand how much money is in one of the cars and how much time and effort and time away and in the garage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Now, if I understand it right, Bill, the winner of championship night. Now I've been hearing that whoever wins has a say in what the rules are the following year.
They did do that 2 years ago when Dan Trent somehow beat Chris. I don't know how. And Chris ended up running out of gas because it was like a 2.5 hour heat championship because it rained so much. But somehow Dan pulled it out, even though he shouldn't have. But and you tell him the rules, and then next year it was Chris. But this year they did it bad. They pretty much put it on social media and asked what we want to change. They didn't. Usually we have a drivers meeting with all the drivers, and we explain. They go by sections, like, tractors, trucks, whatever they want to do.
Right.
And then we tell them the rules, and we agree on it, and that's it. Well, this year they didn't do that. And everyone was complaining. I had to build my car starting November because I had absolutely nothing. I started from zero, and it took me 7 months to build my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked them, I said, where's the rules at? And they didn't get them out till February, and May's the first Derby. So I built my frame way before the rules came out. He said they're going to be like last year's, but a little bit tweaked. Well, they changed a lot of stuff. They changed front plate rules of you're allowed 1/4 inch last year. This year you're allowed 1/2 inch. That's a big difference on the front frame.
Yeah.
And they, it was bad. Like the way the promoters did it, it was absolutely wrong. And we tried to help them ourselves. Many people called, told them, hey, blah, blah, blah. And they rate like, I don't mean to be mean, but they rate like her in second grade. Like, I told my girlfriend would type it because, the one promoter that's there, Wally, is my, kid that helps me. His kid, Jared's my good friend, and, I'd ask him face to face. He told me to build last year's rules, so that's what I did. And then they're complaining about stuff that I did because they switched it. Well, when you weld a plate on the inside of the frame rail, you can't just cut it back off and put it on the outside of the frame rail. How are you supposed to do that? There's stuff like that. You can't tell someone to do one thing, and they got 2 head officials up here, and that's a big problem. I personally think. I think one guy should be the head official, and another one should be a little bit under. Hey, go to him first, like a ranking structure thing, or something like that. And I think big changes are going to come next year because the Lions clubs are getting a little, sick and tired of it because it's always, hey, ask Wally, then you ask Wally, and it's, hey, ask Tom, and it's like. One will say one thing, the other will say other things. What are you supposed to do? Obviously, you're going to do what benefits you the best. I mean, that's
yes,
Derby.
Good point.
But it's stuff like that. I mean, it's just certain things like that. It makes people not want to come. Deal with the BS is exactly the problem. We're from around here. We hear it. We know. Social media does it all.
Well, this definitely went a different direction.
Go to a place like we went to Trumbull last night, and I'm not a big stock car guy, but that was a badass Derby, like straight up. I mean, I went to Bash for the first time this year. I met yourself, Ben, and Josh, and that was crazy. Like, them guys were getting it in them 80s cars. I mean, wide open. I'm like, wow. And them guys know what they're doing. And it's like you come back to here and you don't even want to run here. You don't want to deal with it. You just want to run. You go there, you're going to cut something, just cut it. Don't let one guy do it and the next guy can't.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's the problem is around here a lot, and I think it's just that's why it's down to, like I said, the pro cars are they're dying out around here fast, real quick, because they're getting so hard. People see them skiing in cradles like mine. I have the 1 inch. They're like, oh my god, and it just, I don't know. Hopefully it changes a little bit.
I'm surprised to hear that, because your area was so following Bo's. Which to me was like modified pro mod. I don't know what we called it, but they were super built cars, and you guys had a great following, and that was in that area virtually.
But when you run every other Friday all summer long,
That's too much.
It's
Yeah.
gonna you're gonna
burn
thin it
your
out.
drivers
Yeah,
out.
you're gonna thin everything out, and then once everybody's qualified, what's the incentive to come back? And I didn't expect our conversation to go this route. We're gonna talk to Bill about the win, and then kind of lead into you running down there on the 29th, and the potential of us, putting together the basically the crash course week between
Well,
Pennsylvania and
the way
Virginia.
it's going is Josh will come down and he probably, if we come and we show up, then he'll probably run against us, and that's about it. I mean, it's like when I walked in, the gates open at 6, and I got a little bit late. Last time I got there at 6:30, I was the only pro car there. I'm like, wow. And then another guy showed up, and it was just us two, like I said. And it keeps going down more and more, and you're exactly right. As soon as you're qualified, why do you want to go back? I mean, if your car's still straight and everything, why build another car? It's
Right.
a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money.
Right.
And
Just tinker with it till championship night.
It's a valid point. Well, Bill, if you guys are there, I'd love to drive with you guys. I'll have a smile if you guys junk me. I don't care.
They will.
I'm sure. I'll smile. I don't care. I'm just going to have fun. So.
Just not in the face.
It's me and my old lady's 17-year anniversary that day, so it's what better than the Derby
And get run over
and get run over
in front of her.
I'll take her to a nice restaurant.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure that some of your friends down there will point you in the direction of good
That's
restaurants.
what I was hoping.
Yep.
That's what I'm hoping.
But anyway, what all this was building around is we were trying to create somewhat of a, how they have the speed weeks for sprint cars? Josh doesn't. Ben might. Brian does. You know what I'm talking about.
I exactly know.
So we got the chance that building around this weekend, we've got derbies before and after that Sunday. We don't have any place that Sunday, but around championship night in August, which is the 26th of August, we've got New Alex championship night. Then we've got Hartford Fair, Sunday off, and then we've got Monday and Tuesday in Virginia at Woodstock, and they're both they have features both nights. What we're trying to do is put together somewhat of a speed week where we just go and we hit 4 derbies in 5 nights, kind of like what we do in July. So that would give us July where we do that. Then we'd have September where we do that. Then we'd have October where we do that. And then we would have Blizzard Bash in November, which would be just a ton of fun to exhaust ourselves for the entire summer instead of just doing it in November.
So then we'll all be divorced by New Year's Eve.
And then you can come. It'll work out great.
Oh, boy.
That's awesome.
But we've
The four of us would be having a great time living in the house together.
We've tried to get the ball rolling a little bit. Woodstock is not the most receptive to it, but we're going to try and find a way to make that work. So basically next week we go Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, and then in August when we pile up a bunch of shows at the end, and then October we go a couple at the beginning, and then I think we're on the road all but one weekend in October, and then we lead up to November with Blizzard Bash. Should become a much busier fall than I had anticipated.
And we have all the way from Blizzard Bash to like January off, no derbies. We're going to see what we can do.
Well, that's not entirely true
Yeah,
because
you don't know that.
you don't know that. I had a talk with our good friend Ed Brewster, and John Cash has reached out to him about getting RC derbies to run in conjunction with their shows down there, and Ed and John both now are interested in having Crash Course come down and try and live stream the entire event down there with those guys, which they have shows, and I think there's one in December and then there's one in February.
Sold.
So, that's something that's sitting out there on the horizon
It's
too.
awesome in Florida. Derby in Florida. All right, we got to get back down there.
Which is one of the reasons why Josh is up here today, because we've got to have our midsummer fall planning meeting at some point. What better than today?
Let's do it today.
All right. Then Josh doesn't have to come back.
We won't see Josh again until Blizzard Bash.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Oh, stop. I'll win a couple derbies this summer. I'll come back.
Where? Where? You're not running anywhere.
And,
And when you do, you get loaded before you even get off the trailer.
don't start. Don't start.
You big
Didn't
cheater.
even look at them and load it. That's that's a really good feeling when they see it from 50 yards away and say, "Don't even unload it."
Say, that guy's a cheater.
It's like, wow, that's cool.
Why don't you leave that put together and take that down to New Alex? So then Todd doesn't have to mess up his car.
plates.
Yeah, why don't you take that running with a pro class in New Alex?
Ben's welds were too good. That scared him. Ben showed up at my house one morning, right, and I'm in the middle of doing something, right, and Ben just jumped right in, and by the time we were done 2 hours, 3 hours later, it was like, wow, this is badass.
By doing something, you mean you were like having breakfast? Or
I gave him drinks and stuff. I kept the welder fed. Ben built some badass stuff quickly. My car went next level real fast,
Have you found some place to run it yet?
No. I'm going to cut all of it out now. I'm going. That's my only chance, actually. I want to take it. I'm not going to say where I'm going to take it, but I got to cut some stuff out of it. It'll get run.
Is that the one going to Orange County?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I just got to cut the kickers out of it and stuff.
I just cut the weld. Leave that in there.
Cut the weld?
Just cut the welds.
The
That
welds
way
are
when
too
it comes
good.
up, it'll stop.
Yeah, you'd be better off cutting above the weld than trying to cut that weld.
Wow.
Like 3 inches thick. I'm like, what do we do right here, Ben? And then Ben's like, it's like, he gets done. I'm like, that's what we do right here.
Josh just went and got more welding wire.
That
All
was
right, I'll be
awesome.
back.
It was awesome. I thought I like welded okay, but then like Ben's teaching me things. I'm like, oh my god, dude, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing.
Ben, can I get you a Gatorade or anything?
That's what
And
I
Ben's
did.
like, stop interrupting me.
Yes, that's actually he was saying that. Leave me alone. Shut up.
You know when Ben means business is when he brings his own welding helmet. When he shows it, when he walks into your shop with his own helmet in hand, you're like, wow, it's about to get real now.
Time
He
right
does not. He is not messing around.
It's like, I've only got 4.5 feet of welding wire left. I'm in trouble. Well, Bill, man, congratulations on the win. Is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of? I know that red line was pretty important in you getting qualified and then winning again here over the weekend. What else you got in the car? Who else you want to mention?
Well, I'd like to thank Brent. I mean, he's a stand-up guy, and the motor's nasty. It definitely is, and it's the only reason I won. Chris and Nick definitely. I'm always over here. I'm actually over here right now. They're listening in the garage and helping them and them, teaching me stuff about their cars because, they've been doing it for years and years. They're very good drivers. It helps me big time. Jared, definitely, he helps me. He's my fab guy. That's Chick's Fab Shop. And also my girlfriend and my dog, he's always around helping too. And she puts up with me, and if I need some help and no one's around, she jumps right in and helps me. And, thanks for you guys for having me on, and your show's, awesome. Like I tell you all the time, I sit there and listen to it when I'm at work or wherever, and it gives me insight of places I wouldn't even went to certain places if it wasn't for you guys. So, I appreciate you guys having it.
Sure.
Thank you,
You guys
Ben.
are
Cool,
Josh.
appreciate that.
Too.
Doors open. Doors open anytime. Keep us posted on how things are going on your championship car, and odds are we'll be seeing you here before the end of the summer.
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
Thank
Good one.
Thanks, Bill. We'll see you later. There goes.
Thank you. See you guys.
There goes Bill Gaffy, winner at New Alex. Kind of an interesting way that went. I didn't anticipate the discussion going that way.
I don't want to go against Chris and Nick Quinzler. Like, that's like headache in a jar.
Look at Ben's laughing at you. Ben can't compose himself.
No.
Come on, Ben. You got to qualify too. It'd be like Ben and Josh versus Nick and Chris.
Ben's whole mood Josh's whole mood just changed. Like he's sitting up, he's all stiffened up, squirming in his seat.
Worried. Got a little nervous. It's like, ugh, those guys are good. Real good.
You told me you were going down there and running over anybody that showed up.
I didn't say that.
You said you were afraid of nobody that
You were
runs
on the
New
track.
Alex.
You were on the
Excuse me,
track.
didn't say
You were
that.
on the track.
Hey,
with them
Brian,
last
I
time we were down
remember.
there.
Remember
That's
when
true.
we were?
That's true.
Remember when we were at Keystone Nationals with Josh, Brian,
Yes.
and he was walking by the cars in lines, and he went by a couple cars that had 3-digit numbers on it. He goes, "I don't know who built these, but those guys can't weld." And it turned out it was Nick and Chris's car. You remember that,
No,
Josh?
I didn't.
I
You
remember
said
that.
those guys. Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I
my
remember
God,
that.
Don't even do that.
That was the
to me.
first
Don't
time you've
be
been away
over
from the
here.
table the whole day.
That was
You were-
I
you were
remember
coming
it
back
distinctly,
yeah.
and Josh knows
not a
better
true
than to
story.
question my memory.
You're thinking of wrong, Josh.
Not a true story. Thank you. That is not a true story. Or Chris. Okay, never said it. Never said it. Nah, they're good dudes. Actually,
Yeah, they
enjoy
are.
running
Yeah,
with
them guys
you
are
know?
sure.
Yeah, they'd
They're
be
all
wicked
cool.
cool the whole time.
They would be honored to kick your ass.
Oh, absolutely. They would definitely smile the whole time.
This one was holding the other one was back in the
Absolutely,
track.
big huge grins. You know.
Mark and Corletto and Wetmore, they were smiling ear to ear when they were teeing
that's
off on
true.
me in the wagon.
Corletto was rocking me.
Oh, he was
Rocking
waiting for me.
In a big pink car.
Yep.
This pink car just
Big
kept
pink
nailing
car.
me.
Looked like a Pepto-Bismol balloon coming
Yes,
at
it
you.
did. Yes, it did.
That was a great derby to watch. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
watching that. That was cool.
It was an awesome night.
Yeah.
Should we go down there? Should we go down there on the night Josh tries to qualify, or should we take the pressure off him?
No. Take the pressure.
I think
You mean
go
just
championship
go down
night.
to
Championship.
watch and
No, I mean bring all the cameras and everything. I mean,
Oh.
Josh is gonna try to qualify.
Let me get there, right?
Just wait for you to get
Let
qualified
me
first.
get there, you know.
All right.
Then we go down.
All right.
Would it be cool, dude?
'Cause I think it'd be
like
Oh,
got on New
dude.
Alex track. Think about it, because we had such a blast last time.
It was fun.
It
But
was
then
awesome.
you're going against Mark, Steve, Todd,
Wow.
Quinsler,
Corletto.
Gaffy, Corletto.
No matter what happened at the end of the day, you could say,
Oh, yeah.
I just went against
Yeah.
Bill, Corletto,
Yeah.
Todd. You know,
Yeah.
you could say, I mean, who cares if you lost? It's like, that's about as awesome as a pile as you could get into, you know? That'd be fun.
Yeah, because you talk to any one of the three, and they're winning it.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
They're all,
Absolutely.
everyone you talk to, yeah, we're winning it.
Yeah, we're
it's our
winning.
year. We'll win it. We're winning it. We're winning it. So it's gonna get interesting.
It'd be good.
It'll be a good show.
Josh, you'll just be the pin cushion.
I'm
You'll be
fine
the
with
you'll be
that.
the speed bump on the way to one of them
Fine with
winning the
that.
championship.
Give me some Advil and a...
Pretty big ass speed bump. The car you're gonna be.
Yeah, it's going to rock.
Is that
Yeah.
is that the same car that you're gonna get championship night?
I don't know. I'm just taking...
You haven't
as I go.
negotiated that out.
No.
You haven't negotiated.
Absolutely not.
There ain't no negotiating.
No.
You just it
I was told.
there.
How awesome was it? The fan wanted their picture with you in Caledonia.
It was actually kind of cool, you know. My friends laughed at me. This is the first time they've seen that, you know. But it was cool. You know, a little young girl wanted to take a picture with me, and boy, I got my balls busted. But I thought it was awesome. I like that kind of
that's
stuff,
cool.
you know. Yeah.
You know what
This
was really
week-
cool? It's completely off topic, but you mentioned a little kid getting your picture taken. Last week I was at work, and I was out at lunch, and I'm sitting there eating lunch and listening to the radio like I was doing, just kind of relaxing. And I seen a lady and a little girl come walking down, and there was another female officer sitting outside. So I didn't really pay attention. I went back to whatever I was doing, and she goes, "Oh, there's another one over there." So this lady comes up with her, I think it was her daughter, her niece, I don't remember exactly, and she goes, "How are you doing, sir?" And I said, "Good." And she goes, "My name is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so." And I said, "Oh, nice to meet you." She goes, this little girl said she really admires law enforcement, and she feels really terrible about what's going on, and she wanted to come give some law enforcement people a hug.
Oh, it's awesome.
And I was like, "What?" She's like,
my
"Yeah."
God.
She feels really bad, and she wanted to come. She's like, "Can she give you a hug?" And I was like,
Absolutely.
"Absolutely." And I was just amazed.
Oh, man.
That was like one of the coolest things that ever happened to me in my life, and you just made me remember that again. But
It's a good feeling when someone because my kids don't give a shit what I do. They don't care at all. And that somebody else's kid cares to me is like, I don't know, it's a cool feeling, you know. But my friends have never seen it, so they're like, what just happened there? And it's like, I think I have a fan. You know?
it was cool. My oldest son was at a birthday party Saturday night, and he's like, "I don't know, should I go to the birthday party or should I go with you?" And I said, "Buddy, just go to the birthday party. Have a good time." Well, he had his phone with him, and he was watching the Derby. Throughout, he'd go hang out with the guys. He'd come back and watch the Derby. So that was pretty cool that he was doing that. His mother didn't think so because our usage went up like this, and
Oh yeah, data plan.
It's
yeah,
only
data
money.
plan. Yeah, it's only
Buy
money.
bigger data plans, Brian.
Oh,
I don't think we can. I think
Unlimited.
they don't make that
My
anymore.
house
for
had to go
Verizon.
to that.
And nephew was out in college when he went to Iowa. Was out in Iowa College. Every Crash Course podcast we did,
Yeah.
his whole dorm was watching on the big
Oh my
screen.
God, that's badass.
It was cool. That's what a couple of guys that play football with Zach. They're like, "Hey, we were watching you, coach," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "You're crazy," and I'm like, "Well, I've been told that before, but
That's so cool, you know.
yeah, it was awesome."
We got more Crash Course coming at you this week. Tuesday we're going to be in Dunkirk. Wednesday, oh wait, no, it's not this week. This
Yeah,
week
it's not
this week is just Seneca County. We're not live. We're not doing anything with that. Just taking in the sites on Thursday and Saturday.
I heard Josh Decker's
And
coming up
then
cleaning house.
it's not true.
With Brett
Nothing.
Relier,
Don't
teammates.
trust anything that you hear about that.
Is that
Not
true?
having it. No.
And then the week after that is when things really wind up. Tuesday we're going to be in Dunkirk. Wednesday we're back in Broome County and Whitney Point. Then Friday we might end up down in New Alex with the sounds of things. We'll have to see what happens there. Saturday Ben's going to be at Canandaigua. Sunday we're back in Dunkirk for championship night there. So
Saturday
lots
I'll
of-
be drinking at my house. So keep your calendar semi-open.
Oh, you want me at your house for that? I don't know if you want that.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that more. But
I found a great picture of you on my phone. I was just clicking through it.
I know the picture you're talking about.
All right.
One with the 6-footers.
No. No,
And that's it for tonight's show.
he's got a moonshine and a bottle of vodka. He's got one pounding one, and the other one's double fisting. You know, you can tell it's very late at night.
And that was the night that Ryan Rakestraw
Yeah, you
said
broke him down.
said
Yeah.
he was going to beat me, and I decided it's not happening today, Ryan.
You
It's
were
not happening.
hilarious.
There was a
That-
young lad at the wedding who he in his infinite wisdom thought. I'm pretty sure he's from Fairport, and I don't know if you're familiar with Fairport, but Fairport is pretty well off, and I got to believe he's somewhere between 28 and 30 because his wardrobe was straight out of Jock Douchebag 2007.
Yep.
And he made a critical error in judgment when he sat down next to me after he had bragged all night about how much beer he could consume. And Mr. Muscle Farm grabbed one of the ladies by the elbow. And
You laid in.
a little bit. And then his girlfriend put him up to bed because he couldn't be around us anymore.
I would like to hear that.
He wasn't impervious. Douchebag fuck. He had every bit of that coming to him.
Skinny jeans.
Wait, I've seen you
No.
in skinny jeans.
You ain't seen me in no skinny jeans.
He had his little pop collar with his American Eagle shirt and his backward fitted white hat. I'm like, you are everything that I stand in opposition to.
Oh man. Hey, I wear.
I was going to say you just described Josh Deckers.
Yeah.
But you never played lacrosse. You know
No,
the
I
guy.
didn't. No,
You
I
know the
didn't.
guy. You know the
Oh,
guy.
I know the guy.
The flowing golden locks that used to trail underneath your your lacrosse helmet back in 2007. You decided never to do anything with it. We're in the
Shut
same.
it off. You're gonna get
Chris,
yourself-
it's time to be
He's
done.
going on a tangent now.
Oh,
He's angry.
He usually mutes us when we do that.
I'm
Yeah.
done with that guy. Anyway.
Chris, what do you think?
Where's Coach Hunt? He's got to push the mute button.
Yeah, we're going to have Chris.
We're done. See you next week. I'm not even joking. Okay.
That's awesome.
Everybody home right now.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com. The 2015 Wadena Grand Slam. Boat Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone Nationals. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash 2015. Demo Derby Masters. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast recorded live at the FingerLinks1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.